Alright, so this is another collaboration video. The other guys that are doing this with me are Mississippi Milsurp, Geary Gunderson from Guns, Gear and Guns, and the Blind Sniper. So links to their channel are in the description below. Be sure to give those guys a watch. They're good channels. So the topic is the Swiss K31 straight pull rifle versus the older Swiss K11, also straight pull rifle. Not so much a history lesson. This is more or less our opinions. Which one do we like more? Obviously, I like both because I have both. So this is actually a hard choice for me. But instead of a history lesson, I want to go over some sort of in-depth specs about each rifle to really give you an idea of, what you're getting. So right off the bat, the similarities are these rifles both hold 6 rounds. They both have detachable box magazines, although they're not interchangeable. Okay. They load with charger clips or stripper clips. They take the same exact charger clip. The barrel length on the K11 is 23¼ inch, whereas the K31 is 25½ inches. And yet they're pretty much the same exact length. Pretty much. The K31 is only 1/4 inch longer than the K11. But it's not noticeable. Really, it's not noticeable. They take the same bayonets. They have the same exact, what they call a stacking rod at the end of the barrel. Okay? Same style, even on the K11. Now, I believe even these barrel bands up front, these 2 barrel bands, everything I can see, these barrel bands interchange with each other. Okay. They have the same exact sling mounts, which you can see here. They even take the same sling. Okay. The bolt release on these is in the same position, works the same way. You pull this down and pull the bolt back and out of the rear. So they both have that same style. Okay, you can see that here. They have the same exact safety and cocking ring on the back. Okay, if you've ever seen any of these Swiss rifles, any videos of them, you probably know that that's cocked. You pull back and rotate, that's safe. You can't open the bolt, you can't pull the trigger, it locks it up. But before someone says something, yes, these rifles are both unloaded. Okay. They both have a steel butt plate. They have the same exact length of pole, each of these rifles. They're both 12½ inches. The barrel on actually both the barrels, they have the same exact twist rate, which is 1 in 10.6 inches. It's a right-hand twist and it's a 4-groove barrel. Let's see. I think that about covers it for all the similarities. Like I said, they shoot the same cartridge, 7.5/55 Swiss. Let's go over some of the small differences here. The first one I want to point out is the fact that the K11 has a 300-meter battle sight, so you have to aim about 6 inches low at 50 yards to get it to hit the bullseye. And the K31 has the 100-meter battle sight. So this is point of aim, 100 yards and inside of that. Okay. The trigger is a little bit nicer on the K31. It's a 2-stage. Both of these are 2-stage triggers, but this has about a 3-pound brake. And the K11 has about a 4.5-pound brake. Still nice, not bad. K31 though, in the trigger department, it wins. But these are just 2 examples of these rifles, so who knows if another K11 compared to this one, would be smoother. The sight radius on the K31 is 2 inches longer than the K11, for what that's worth. Longer sight radius doesn't hurt nothing. It's always better. Let's see. Well, the other obvious difference is the K31 has this metal, I think it's aluminum, a metal bolt handle, and it's sort of just like riveted in place. Whereas the K11 has sort of this hard rubber handle that is screwed in place. There's a nut under here you can loosen. If you need to, like a lot of these are cracked, they're chipped, they turn an ugly brown color. If you really, really need to, there are reproductions of these handles you can buy. I think a couple different companies make them. That's an easy search on Google if you're interested. Okay. The bolt throw on the K11, as far as bolt travel, is 4 3/4 inches, and the K11, this is 4 1/2 inches, so it's only 1/4 of an inch shorter of a throw. Now, the big thing in these rifles here, comparing these two rifles in particular, is the fact that the K31 is a frontal locking rifle. This makes the bolt a lot shorter. And that was how they were able to, because this whole bolt, this receiver is shorter, that was how they were able to put the extra, a little over 2 inches on the barrel. So, but maintaining pretty much the same overall length. The K11 is rear locking. Okay, it locks back here, not up front. Some might call it a weaker action. I can tell you that I've seen a lot of these rifles from like the 50s, I believe it was, that were imported, and they were rechambered in 308 and made to look sporterized. And if anyone knows of one of them blowing up after running 308 through them, I'd like to know, because I've never found any instance of one of these K11s blowing up after it's been rechambered for 308. Like I said, those are old sporter guns from like the 50s or 60s. So that is really probably the biggest difference a lot of people know about these rifles already, is the fact that the action changed. The K11 is a little bit lighter. It's a little bit slimmer of a stock back here. I like the feel of the K11 a little bit more than I do the K31. If the K31 had the stock feel of, if the K31 had the stock feel of the K11, this would be the clear winner for me. Like I said, I like both rifles. That's why I have them. But at the end of the day, sorry all the K11 guys. This one sort of beats the K11 in the accuracy department. This is bedded a little bit better than the K11 is. The trigger's a little bit nicer. The barrel's also a bit thicker on the K11 than it is the K31 than it is on the K11. Ugh, I gotta get this straight. Trying to think, what else? Oh, that was what that's what I was gonna mention. I don't know if I remembered to mention it, but like I said, this has a 300-meter battle sight. You can buy an aftermarket front sight for these that are taller, and this one I had to file down even after I put it on. So this one now, this K11, shoots to the point of aim. The bolt on the K31 here is a little smoother, and about the only reason it's smoother is because the K11 has a little bit more spring tension you're fighting. That's about it. Now, some people say, why do they need to replace this? Well, it was because this was not only a better design in theory because it's frontal locking, but this was cheaper to manufacture than the K11. So that was one of the big reasons why they adopted this. So let's get to the range and see what both these rifles do at 50 yards. Alright, so let's give this a try at 50 yards. Using PPU, 174 grain, full metal jacket. These are the Northridge plastic clips. They're a little tight, you sort of have to rock them in, and now we're ready. Smooth bolt. Last round. Okay, so K31 first. This is what I was able to do at 50 yards. 5-shot group here, and I got a little excited and I pulled one high. So, it's a good group. It's a good group. Now the K11. And once again, I'm pretty sure this is me and not so much the rifle. It's said that the K31 is more accurate, but K11, at least this example, is pretty close as long as I can do my part. Yeah. Now, here's a little bonus footage of me just sort of messing around with the K31 at 200 yards. There was a steel gong out there. Sort of hard to see. At least that's my excuse. So, here's a little bonus footage of me using up the rest of the ammo for this rifle.